When is it that you started table tennis?
Yes, I know exactly when. I've though I was never great at sports, as I said, I've always sort of liked sports. And when I was in graduate school, I started playing sports more and more. I was playing softball a lot. I was playing volleyball. I was playing a fair amount of tennis, regular tennis, not table tennis. Softball and volleyball eventually fell by the wayside, but I kept playing regular tennis. But then my knees went with arthritis. So this knee eventually had to be replaced. You can see the scar. And this knee, probably have to before too long. It doesn't have any cartilage left. And so I couldn't run anymore. So tennis was out, but I still had those competitive urges. So I've always had pretty good reflexes, that when you play me, and decent hand-eye coordination. So like when we would go on winter vacation, which we would every year to some resort place, often there would be a table tennis table. And I really didn't know how to play, but I could always do pretty well just by reflexes and hand-eye coordination. But then when I couldn't do tennis, or really most any other sport, because what sport doesn't involve running or jumping, which you can't do if you don't have any cartilage in your knees. So I thought, well, maybe table tennis. So I Googled Boston and table tennis, and the first hit was Boston Table Tennis Club, and their front page says, oh, we have a coach, Liang Leung. So I called him up, and I've been going to the club ever since. That was 16 years ago.
Okay, so
when I was 60. Well, when you have a replacement knee, they say it ought to last about 15 years. But if you do extensive running and or jumping, it ought to last 2 years. Because the plastic that does the work that human cartilage would normally do is nowhere near as robust as human cartilage. They cannot come up with a plastic that's really robust. And if you do running and jumping, it just wears out.
what do you think about the ability of table tennis to keep somebody fit and in shape and keep the mind going?
Yeah, I think there's something to both. I guess I don't know these studies, but there have been studies that indicate if you keep your mind active, you can put off just normal dementia. I don't think you can put off Alzheimer's, but there are other kinds of just age-related dementia, and you can slow that down just by keeping your mind very active. And table tennis is a very mental sport. It's sometimes described, as I'm sure you've heard, as a cross between tennis and chess. Mm-hmm. And it's true. Just based on physical ability, you would think I could never beat anybody. This happened to me just last week at the club at the University of Maryland. There was a guy I was playing, and he was afraid of my side spin serve. So on about my third serve of the match, I could see him standing 3 feet back from the table. So I just dropped the serve right over the net on the forehand side, and it bounced about 4 times before he could even touch it. And I said, if you stand that far back from the table to receive serve, any decent player in the world is going to do what I just did. Mm-hmm. But that's not physical. I didn't have any special physical skill. I just was observant and sort of computing. He's there. If I serve here, there's no way he can touch it. Mm-hmm. So I think it is pretty mental. Or, I don't know, very often if I'm playing somebody I've never played before, my first serve will be deep to their backhand with heavy underspin to see if they have a backhand loop, because that's important information to have. And at our level, very often they will not have a backhand loop. So I'll know, even if I can't win the point outright with that serve, it'll be a safe serve. They'll have to push it.